Have you ever imagined that back in the 1950s, there were trucks so strange they looked like they came straight out of a laboratory of crazy ideas? Massive machines, bizarre shapes, cabins that looked like rocket cockpits, and designs that make you look at them today and wonder, who on earth approved this? The truth is, the 50s were a time of intense experimentation in the automotive world. After the Second World War, engineers suddenly had the freedom to test bold and unconventional ideas. Some of those ideas worked. Others, well, they ended up creating some of the most unusual and unexpected trucks ever to hit the road. But were all of those projects really bad? Or was there actually a clever engineering logic behind those strange designs that most people never noticed? In today's video, you're about to take a journey through Ken trucks that were completely out of the ordinary, machines that might look bizarre at first glance, but that tell incredible stories about engineering, heavy-duty work, and an era when creativity and bold thinking went hand in hand. Ready to discover some of the strangest, biggest, and most unexpected trucks of the 1950s? Then stay with me until the end, because the last one on this list looks less like a truck and more like a creature that escaped onto the highway. Scammell Scarab. The Scammell Scarab first appeared in the late 1940s, developed by the British manufacturer Scammell in the United Kingdom. It was designed for a very specific job in the post-war years, moving trailers around ports, railway yards, and cargo terminals, where maneuvering space was extremely limited. The result was a small, compact truck, with a design that looked more like an industrial tractor than a traditional highway truck. Under that rounded cab was a 4-cylinder inline engine, with roughly 2.5 liters of displacement, producing around 90 horsepower. That might not sound like much today, but for a vehicle focused on short-distance maneuvering inside logistics hubs, it was more than enough. The 4-cylinder engine was paired with a 4-speed manual transmission with short gear ratios, perfect for delivering strong pulling power at low speeds. Exactly what was needed for hauling heavy trailers around busy cargo yards all day long. Structurally, the Scarab used a rigid axle setup with semi-elliptic leaf spring suspension. It was a simple but extremely durable configuration that allowed the truck to handle constant work in freight yards without complicated maintenance. Visually, the Scarab was impossible to miss. Its rounded cab sat very far forward on the chassis, and the driver was positioned almost directly above the front axle. From a distance, the truck almost looked like a small mechanical insect crawling around industrial yards. That compact design also allowed for an incredibly tight turning radius, which made it perfect for maneuvering trailers between warehouse corridors and rail cars. For many years, the Scarab was a common sight in British ports and distribution centers. For workers in those places, it became an essential piece of equipment. Some drivers even joked that driving a Scarab felt like operating a giant industrial go-kart because of the extremely forward driving position. Small, strange, and incredibly practical, the Scarab opens our list, proving that sometimes the weirdest ideas can also be surprisingly effective. But if this British truck already looks unusual, the next machine on the list takes the concept of excess to a completely absurd level. Berlier T100. The Berlier T100 was introduced in 1957 by the French manufacturer Berlier. At the time, oil companies were beginning large operations in the Sahara Desert, and they needed a truck capable of transporting enormous equipment across regions where roads barely existed. The answer from French engineers was one of the most gigantic trucks ever built. Under the massive body sat a 12-cylinder V engine with roughly 28 liters of displacement. This powerhouse produced about 700 horsepower, an enormous amount of power for the time, and absolutely necessary to move a machine that weighed tens of tons, even when empty. The 12-cylinder engine was paired with a heavy-duty manual transmission with multiple gears designed to handle the constant stress of operating in harsh desert environments. The chassis itself was enormous, supported by reinforced axles and heavy-duty leaf spring suspension built to withstand massive industrial loads and the truck's own extreme weight. Visually, the Berlier T100 looked like something straight out of a 1950s science fiction movie. Its tires were so large that a grown adult could stand inside one. the cab sat several meters above the ground, giving the driver an incredible view over the desert landscape. These trucks were mainly used for oil exploration in North Africa, hauling pipelines, drilling equipment, and massive cargo loads across hundreds of miles of sand. Despite being a work machine, the T100 quickly became something of an industrial celebrity. When one of the prototypes was displayed at exhibitions in Europe, huge crowds gathered just to witness the unbelievable size of the truck. One of these trucks was eventually preserved and can still be seen today in a museum in France, where it continues to impress visitors decades later. If the previous truck seems strange because it was small, the Berlier T100 earns its place on the list simply for being gigantic. But get ready, because the next vehicle looks like it came straight from the future. GMC Futurliner. The GMC Futurliner appeared in the late 1940s, developed by General Motors in the United States. It wasn't designed to carry cargo at all. Instead, it was part of a project called the Parade of Progress, a traveling technology show that toured the country demonstrating what the future of science and transportation might look like. Inside this massive machine was a 6-cylinder inline engine with about 5 liters of displacement, producing roughly 145 horsepower. It wasn't built for speed, but it had enough power to move the huge mobile exhibition structure. The engine worked with a 4-speed manual transmission, suited for relatively calm highway travel between cities. The chassis used reinforced axles and strong leaf spring suspension, since the vehicle carried not only its large body, but also heavy exhibition equipment, stages, and demonstration technology. But what truly made the Futurliner special was its design. The driver's cabin was positioned high in the center of the front section, giving the driver a commanding view, almost like sitting in a tower on wheels. The body was tall, smooth, and painted in striking red and white colors, with styling that resembled rockets and futuristic aircraft of the era. Large side panels opened up and transformed the truck into a full presentation stage. Inside, audiences could see experimental engines, early robotics concepts, new energy ideas, and predictions about how technology might shape the future. These trucks traveled across hundreds of American cities, bringing science and innovation to millions of people during the 1950s. One restored Futurliner was sold at auction for more than $4 million, becoming one of the most valuable historic vehicles ever sold. But if that truck looked too futuristic for its time, the next one on the list was built to survive some of the harshest environments on Earth. Tatra 111. The Tatra 111 began gaining attention during the 1950s, produced by the manufacturer Tatra in what was then Czechoslovakia. This truck was designed to withstand extremely harsh working conditions, from heavy construction sites to operations in remote regions where roads barely existed. Under the hood was a diesel V12 engine with about 14.5 liters of displacement. This engine produced around 210 horsepower, providing enough strength to move heavy loads across difficult terrain. The 12-cylinder engine was paired with a robust manual transmission with multiple gears, allowing the truck to maintain constant pulling power even on steep climbs or rough dirt roads. The structure of the Tatra was one of the most interesting designs of its time. It used a central tubular chassis with swinging axles and independent suspension, something quite advanced for heavy trucks of that era. This system helped the truck maintain stability and ground contact even on extremely uneven terrain. Visually, the Tatra 111 gave off a sense of absolute toughness. The simple cab, long hood, and tall stance gave the truck an almost indestructible appearance. It was widely used in mining, heavy construction, and transportation across mountainous or frozen regions. In some parts of Siberia, trucks of this model continued working for decades while facing extremely low temperatures, something that helped build its reputation as a nearly indestructible machine. If you're enjoying discovering these unusual machines that once ruled the roads, take a moment now to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. And impressive as it already was, the next truck on this list was built to transport one of the heaviest machines ever created: battle tanks. Thornycroft Antar. The Thornycroft Antar was developed in the United Kingdom during the 1950s as a heavy military transport truck. Its main mission was to haul tanks and massive military equipment over long distances. Under the massive hood sat a diesel inline six-cylinder engine with about 12 liters of displacement, producing roughly 250 horsepower. This six-cylinder engine was paired with a heavy-duty manual transmission with multiple gear ratios, designed to handle extremely heavy loads across different types of terrain. The chassis was heavily reinforced and supported by multiple axles with suspension based on heavy-duty leaf springs, built to carry the enormous weight of armored vehicles transported on large trailers. Visually, the Antar looked like a true military giant. The long hood, huge tires, and tall cab gave the impression of a machine built exclusively for brutal work. It was mainly used by British armed forces to transport tanks and military vehicles between bases and operational zones. Drivers who worked with these trucks often said that driving a fully loaded Antar felt like controlling a locomotive on wheels because of the massive weight of the moving combination. And even though it was already an impressive machine, the next truck on the list became famous for a design that looked almost exaggerated for its time. Fageol Super Freighter. The Fageol Super Freighter appeared in the United States in the early 1950s as a truck designed for heavy highway transportation during a time of rapid economic growth in the country. Depending on the configuration, it could be equipped with inline six-cylinder engines or V8 engines. Some versions used engines with more than 8 liters of displacement, capable of producing over 300 horsepower. The engine was paired with a multi-speed manual transmission designed to handle long-distance hauling with large cargo loads. The chassis was strong and supported by reinforced axles with suspension based on heavy-duty leaf springs, providing stability even when the truck was fully loaded. Visually, the Super Freighter had proportions that immediately caught attention. The forward cab design and the overall size of the truck gave it a powerful presence on American highways of the time. It was widely used for commercial and industrial freight, helping move goods across the country during a period of strong economic expansion. There is even a story about one operator who used one of these trucks for more than a decade on long-distance routes in the western United States, racking up hundreds of thousands of miles with very few mechanical issues. And since we are halfway through this journey, exploring some of the most unusual trucks ever built, if you're enjoying this trip through the world of these incredible machines, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos. Because believe me, the trucks coming next get even more surprising. REO Cabover Truck. The REO Cabover truck appeared in the United States during the 1950s as a clever solution to a growing problem on the roads at the time. Many transportation laws limited the total length of trucks, forcing manufacturers to find ways to use space more efficiently. The solution was to move the cab above the engine. That is how the cabover concept was born, where the driver sits almost directly over the powertrain. This allowed the truck to carry more cargo without increasing the vehicle's overall length. Under the cab, these trucks usually used inline six-cylinder engines or V8 engines. Depending on the configuration, displacement could exceed 5.5 liters, producing somewhere between 180 and 220 horsepower. The engine was paired with a manual transmission with multiple gears, designed to keep the truck efficient, both in city routes and longer freight trips. The structural setup used strong axles and suspension based on semi-elliptical leaf springs, ensuring durability for constant heavy work. Visually, the REO Cabover looked very different from traditional long hood trucks. The cab sat almost at the very front of the vehicle, creating a shape that was compact yet tall at the same time. Driving a truck like this initially felt strange. The sensation of sitting almost over the front axle completely changed the perception of distance when maneuvering. But over time, this design proved extremely efficient for urban deliveries and logistics operations. Interestingly, this type of design became very common in the decades that followed, especially in regions where truck length regulations were stricter. What seemed unusual in the 1950s eventually became a design that influenced trucks for generations. International Harvester Metro Van. The International Harvester Metro Van appeared in the United States as an extremely versatile commercial vehicle during the 1950s. Although many people consider it a cargo van, it performed many roles normally handled by small delivery trucks. Under its compact body was an inline 6-cylinder engine with about 3.5 liters of displacement. This engine produced roughly 120 horsepower, enough to move the vehicle with cargo through city streets. The 6-cylinder engine was connected to a simple and durable manual transmission, ideal for urban routes with frequent stops. The structure used a reinforced chassis with suspension based on heavy-duty springs designed to support constant cargo weight. But what really made the Metro van stand out was its design. The body was completely enclosed and rounded, creating a shape that almost looked like a metal capsule on wheels. This unique appearance made the vehicle instantly recognizable on American streets. It was widely used for urban deliveries, transporting tools, and mobile service operations. Many companies even converted these vehicles into mobile workshops. Over time, some of these models also appeared as ice cream trucks, snack trucks, and early food trucks, which helped turn the Metro van into a beloved vehicle among the public. Even today, restored examples still appear at classic car events across the United States. But if this urban vehicle already seemed unusual, the next truck on the list takes us back to the world of massive machines built for extreme heavy work. Diamond T980. The Diamond T980 was a heavy truck developed in the United States for military transportation and large-scale logistics operations. Although it first appeared during the 1940s, it remained widely used throughout the 1950s. Under the long hood sat an inline 6-cylinder engine with about 14 liters of displacement. This engine produced roughly 185 horsepower, delivering enough strength to pull extremely heavy loads. The 6-cylinder engine worked together with a heavy-duty manual transmission, with multiple gears designed to handle the enormous effort required to move military vehicles. The structure used multiple axles and heavy suspension, with reinforced leaf springs, ensuring stability and durability during demanding operations. The Diamond T980 had the classic appearance of a heavy military truck. A long hood, strong fenders, and an extremely solid chassis. These trucks were mainly used to tow battle tanks and other massive military equipment. During military exercises and logistics operations, they were responsible for moving machines that weighed dozens of tons. Even decades after production ended, many of these trucks are still restored by collectors and displayed at historical vehicle events. Its rugged design and historical importance helped turn the Diamond T into a true legend among military trucks. But even with all that presence, the truck that takes the #1 spot on this list manages to be even more unusual. Kenworth Bullnose. The Kenworth Bullnose was one of the most visually striking trucks of the 1950s. Produced by Kenworth in the United States, it became famous for a detail that immediately caught people's attention on the road. Its hood had an extremely rounded shape, creating a front end that resembled the nose of a bull. That distinctive look is exactly what gave the truck its nickname, Bullnose. These trucks could be equipped with inline 6-cylinder engines or V8 engines. Depending on the configuration chosen by operators, displacement could exceed 10 liters. These engines were capable of producing more than 300 horsepower, providing enough power for heavy highway transportation across long American routes. The engine was paired with a strong manual transmission with multiple gears, allowing the truck to handle different types of cargo and road conditions. The structure used a heavy chassis with reinforced axles and suspension based on strong leaf springs, designed to support long journeys carrying large loads. Visually, the Kenworth Bullnose had a commanding presence. The rounded front end, large hood, and classic cab created a unique look that stood out on the highway. These trucks were mainly used for long-distance freight transport, helping move goods across the United States. Over the years, the Bullnose became a true icon among classic trucks. Today, restored models still appear at truck shows and vintage vehicle events, attracting enthusiasts who admire its distinctive design. Interestingly, what many once considered a strange design eventually became a symbol of a remarkable era in highway transportation. These trucks show how the 1950s were a time of incredible creativity in automotive engineering. Manufacturers were experimenting with new ideas, new shapes, and different solutions to face logistical challenges in a rapidly growing world. Some of these designs look strange, others were enormous, and some were so different that they almost looked like machines from another planet. But they all had something in common. Each one represented an attempt to solve real problems involving transportation, heavy work, and mobility. In the end, these machines are not just old trucks. They are part of the history of engineering and industrial development. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these trucks did you find the strangest? Which one have you seen, or would like to see in person at a classic vehicle show? And is there any vintage truck you know that also deserves a spot on this list? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, because I'd really like to hear what you think. And if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. That really helps the channel grow, because it shows YouTube that our content is relevant and helps the video reach more people. And stay tuned, because every week there's a new video about the most incredible machines that have conquered the roads, deserts, ice, and the most extreme terrains on the planet. I'll see you in the next video.